stay in a house, by the way.
Alright.
Okay, let's see this place now. Okay.
Oh, it's nice. Wow, Mike. You sure know how to pick them.
I do know how to pick them. Never forget that.
I don't.
Hey guys, so we made it to Port Elizabeth and we've just been checking in just now. It's let me check my time. It's 6:42 local time, and this is how it looks. Doesn't look
That cheap.
After checking in at 7 p.m. we decided to go out for dinner, and shockingly the only thing that was open was McDonald's and KFC, so we didn't have any other choice than to eat at McDonald's. And also another thing, other parts of the town were very kind of a little bit scary because there were no people around there, so it's kind of a little bit unsafe. And exactly that, at 7 p.m. everything was closed down, so we were like kind of a little bit, you know, unsafe.
I really could.
Michael is dying. What did you eat?
Muffin.
That's why you're like, there's something in your, whatever, in your system. You have bacteria.
Probably.
Guys, so this morning it's almost 8. We are leaving Port Elizabeth, heading to Cape Town. And so far so good. The garden route has been a nice experience. And now we can't wait to be in Cape Town, you know, and then Namibia.
So after our next destination, don't tell them. They have to guess.
I'll cut that out.
Alright.
They already know we are heading to Namibia. I've said 1,000 times. So, yeah.
I'm still sad when I'm going to Malawi.
Hello guys, so we made it to Cape Town. We are at the airport, and of course we needed some car rental to run errands, and mom and dad will be leaving today. That's so sad. I know. So we'll be having a sit down with them just in a few. We need to check in first, and then there are activities that we need to do, and then later we'll, you know, grind our video with a sit down. So stay tuned.
Jumping it for a while, you know, they were going to shit a lot faster.
Not just.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I told today I'm going to be interviewing mom and dad, and this is supposed to be, you know, natural conversation, more of not an interview, just a chat with, you know, with my parents now.
Sweet.
And I'll allow you to introduce yourselves.
All right, ladies first.
Okay, I'm Gayla Basson.
I'm Jeff Basson, Michael's dad and mom.
For sure. And you know, some of the people have been saying Michael looks more of his mom.
Oh, he does. Oh, there's no question about that. No question. It takes after her.
Yeah, don't worry, but if the camera doesn't show,
That's good.
it's really
That's
recording.
fine.
So, well,
some people have said it looks like me, but
let me say,
yeah.
character-wise, Michael looks like you.
Yeah, I think the answer is that Michael's personality is very much like mine, and that impacts his facial expression.
Right.
You know, but in terms of pure physical features, I take after mom.
Yeah. Also, like, what can I say? Since I started talking to you guys, and well, I was shy on the farm, blah 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 blah, and I got more comfortable with you. But most of the time, I mean, mom, she's very soft and, you know, quite spoken.
For sure. Not as much as you think. Trust me.
Really?
Not all the time.
But I love that.
Yes.
She's very soft, very kind. This is very beautiful. And for you, every time, you know, we're having a conversation, maybe Mike is calling you, maybe calling the two of you.
Yes.
You take over the conversation.
True.
Yeah?
There's no question.
And mom is not
We know why.
talking.
We know that's true. But I do try and bring her in as well, and I'm not totally like oblivious. I don't
Can't
think.
get rid of that choice.
Oh.
Yeah, so welcome to my channel finally.
Happy to be here.
This is not the first time you're appearing in my channel, but officially now.
We're official, great.
There was a wedding video. too.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been so excited to meet you guys.
Yes.
Let me say this on camera. I mean, we've been talking, of course, we started talking back in March, I think. Last year.
Boy, oh boy, Michael met you in October
That was
of
2022. Yeah.
and I more or less became aware of you when we came in November. We did not
Yes.
meet you, but I overheard his side of conversations, and I was, shall we say,
So let me tell you.
Yes.
So when you were in Kenya, that was like, we had met like 1 week. We were in a relationship
Right.
for 1 week. And Michael was like, why don't you meet my parents? I mean, for me, for us, I mean, meeting someone's parents is a big deal.
Right.
It's a very big
I understand.
thing. It's
Absolutely.
a very big thing. And I was like, I wasn't sure where our relationship was heading to. We were
Of
still
course.
young. And I was like, I'm very nervous to meet your parents because I don't know how I'm going to introduce myself.
Well, no, key thing. I overheard his side of conversation,
Right.
and we could tell, to show we say there was stuff going on.
Right.
So we had no doubts of what was going on. Where it was going to go was not entirely clear, but we got it.
Right. So wow. So I'm just gonna start. So so far so good. How have you been? How has been your time here in Cape Town? And
Wow. First of all, we love
It's
it.
been great.
Right.
It's so exciting.
I'm let Mom go first.
Yes. Well, first of all, the wedding was the big event.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that was just unforgettable.
Perfect.
It was just a spectacular event. And then the week-long party afterwards was very spectacular.
Right, yeah.
And then the trip on the
To
garden,
the garden route, yeah.
And,
Even if the last day was
and then Port Elizabeth was not so
No,
right.
no one would say that.
And then today we saw the penguins.
That was great.
And we're leaving
great.
this evening.
Yeah.
So,
It's sad.
so it was just spectacular.
The whole thing.
Every day was just an adventure.
Yeah, for sure.
It was great.
So let me just ask you, just honestly. Okay, I was very nervous to meet you for the first time.
No,
Were you
of
guys
course.
nervous? Are you guys nervous?
We were nervous.
Of course. Oh, Tracy, first of all, remember, we had video chat a number of times.
Yeah,
I
a few
know,
times.
yes.
And so you weren't like somebody who came off the planet Mars.
Right.
I hope you look at us that way.
Mm.
And so, I don't think we do. But so we knew where things were going. There was not a question.
Right.
We knew why we were. The whole thing was well understood.
Right.
And we've always been very supportive of Michael,
For sure.
although we yell at him as needed. And so, it's
Okay.
needed.
I'm quite like, sometimes I'm like, okay, you guys shout at each other, I'm like, okay, so I understand where Michael gets the shouting from.
Oh yeah. and Michael has said to me, he wishes that more people would shout at each other the way we do. Very healthy.
For sure, like you are totally different. For me, I'm like, when we're having some, fights sometimes, it's like, Michael is like, gets hit up very quickly and he's over it after that. He's like over it.
It's over.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, okay, I need to go there progressively and then cool down with time.
It's over, it doesn't linger, and we move on.
Yeah, but that's a good thing about it. I mean, I love that he's very open. You guys are very open, and that's what I love about you.
Thanks.
And you guys are very generous.
Oh.
I have to say
Yes.
thank you
Yeah,
for
we are.
coming,
Yes.
for supporting us ever since day one. That you knew me, and all that has been a good journey, and finally to meet you.
It's great to meet you. Really, really.
So, on to now to the main topics.
Oh dear. I'm not sure. I may withdraw things instead. I don't know.
Okay, that's something. No more end of that. So, looking at you guys and what Mike has been explaining to me ever since, he's always been telling me, I want really to have a happy marriage like my parents. And he's really looking up to you.
Oh wow, yes.
And I was like,
I kind of
still
know that.
want to
I know
meet
he
them.
feels that way. I know that. That's
And I want to meet, and I was like looking forward to meet, you guys to see what is this Michael's looking up to. And when you guys, the way you coordinate, the way you do your things is very beautiful. I mean, like, still there's true love still exists, and And for me, I would say, well, I would love my marriage to work like that.
Yeah, 40 years later, we're still newlyweds.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
And we're best friends.
And we're best friends.
That's
Absolutely.
very good. Really. I really admire your relationship.
We can tell each other anything.
Sure.
And we understand each other's moods very well.
And although I'm loud, she can yell at me, and she does. a lot more than you may realize.
I haven't seen her yell.
You may not, no, you haven't seen it, but it happens. Seriously.
Okay.
And so, do you want some keys to all
Yeah.
this?
Now tell me what are the secrets to happy marriage.
Okay, I'll give you a couple of secrets. Number one, have a good sense of humor
Right.
and find everything funny, even
Okay.
when it's not. I'm reminded of Dana going to a conference where the speaker was Nora Ephron, who's a very famous writer and script writer. She wrote When Harry Met Sally and all kinds of stuff. And something she said, and you'll underscore this. Everything is copy.
Right.
You know, which means everything that happens to you is source material for your next book.
Even the bad stuff.
Right.
Even the bad
Turn
stuff.
around and
No,
it becomes a good
you
story.
gotta look at it that way, and we've had frankly our share, and so you've got to look at it as, with a philosophical way, as opposed to why is this happening to me? It happens to everybody. Bad things happen to people all the time, and you just got to realize that this is just part of the challenges, and so keeping a sense of humor about you is even in rough times is important.
Right.
And second of all, really listen to the other person. Now, I think, are those like two, at least near the top of the list?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Listening to, always listening to
Listen
each other.
to everything.
Listen to each other.
Not only the words, but what is said.
Right.
You gotta listen deep.
Right. Wow.
And don't go to bed angry. Always
Never
discuss
go-
it.
never go to bed angry.
Settle things before you go to bed.
Never go to bed angry. Don't
Wow.
let things linger.
That's the best one I've ever, like, also Michael tells me every day. Wow. That's, for me, I would not like want to discuss about my parents' marriage, but wasn't been that much successful. And, it's we living in a kind of strange and weird generation right now where there are a lot of broken marriages around.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of not even get to marriage, even like a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, it doesn't work anymore. So getting a genuine person, someone who will want to be with you and in all your flaws and all that is very hard to find.
I mean, first of all, you have to start with the idea you have to marry the right person.
Right.
That the right result is not going to happen automatically. And how I knew this was the right person, her, was when I said something, her response back was always the exact perfect right response. I mean, like everything I said, which could be good or bad or whatever, but whatever she said wasn't like out of left field or something crazy or not. Listen, everything if I said something, her response was always perfect. I mean, it was just she said the exact right thing.
You wanted to hear.
Well, that's not what I wanted to hear, but it was more like, she gets me. So you have to get involved with somebody who gets you, or no matter what. Then it's not a question of what you do. You've got to have the core foundation. By the way, I find it funny. I realize we've been married 3 years. We have nothing to talk about, but maybe the kids. I don't think we've ever stopped finding things to talk about.
No.
We've had a 41 year probably since we met conversation. It just hasn't stopped. We just talk all the time. And
You always have something to say.
I never been a time not.
That doesn't have to be boring, I guess.
No, it's never boring. Never boring.
Right.
I'm never bored.
Yes.
So what are the things that also you enjoy doing together? Also you think that spice your relationship?
Okay. Well, Jeff has some interests that I'm not interested in.
Right.
And I have interests that he's not interested in. So it's okay to have, friends that you can go, like if he doesn't want to go to a concert, I'll go with a girlfriend.
Right.
And
Sure.
that's good. And if he wants to go to a football game, that's fine. I don't like
Sports.
football. So he does that. So it's good to have separate interests. But it's also good to have interests in common that you can do together. And some things that we enjoy doing together is like listening to an audiobook, watching a TV series, or going to the movies, going out to dinner with friends. You know,
movies and plays.
Very important to be part of a community and have lots of friends, but also to have alone time and to really enjoy each other's company and pay attention to each other and not just sit on your phones and while you're eating.
Right.
So make sure, you know, when you have meals together, that you're not just, you know, engrossed in your cell phones.
Right.
You need to talk to each other and keep that
All
going
the time.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bad habit. I hate it when I see that. You know, young people, that's all they do is look at their phones.
Yeah, I mean, every day nowadays, everyone is just addicted.
Yes.
Even young kids are just addicted on their phones. So TikTok and all that. I mean, like, yeah, in a family, everyone is quiet at dinner time. Everyone is on their phones. I mean, it's a different world right now.
I mean, one other thing which I think is interesting, and I've come to conclude surprising in a way, talking to other people, is that yeah, there are a couple of TV shows that I watch on my own, and some of my sporting events often you don't care for, and you have a couple you watch, you know, but in the main, every evening in the 9 or 10 p.m. timeline, depending on what's going on in the evening, it's a question of what shows are we gonna watch together. So we always end the day with us together watching something in common,
And then we discuss
which becomes, and we don't discuss it.
Something that you share in common.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, it's not when I say and then we discuss it. The then might be right away, or more likely than not, it'll be the next day or at some other point in time. It will organically arise, but we always end the day coming together in order to know what we're watching and what we're our entertainment and so forth. We never. This is a football game, maybe something like that. But we never end the day. I've done my thing, she's doing her thing. Bye. I mean, I may stay up a little later than she does sometimes, and I get up earlier. I'm a sort of a late to bed, early to rise. But there's always a coming in, and I've come to realize, just talking to people, that what we do there, honey, is unusual. There's other people don't. They don't. Am I surprising you not to tell you that? But it's true, and I'm struck by that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we find it most enjoyable, you know, and then we also discuss like current events and news and things, so that we, you know, I know a lot of couples have divergent political opinions, but we tend to think pretty much alike.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, this is a change, though. One key respect. And it's a change probably over the last 10 years, really, in that I was always been a politically interested and politically active person, and I would not say in the first many years of our marriage that was the case with you.
No, that's true.
But later, you know, maybe about a dozen years ago, something like that, I think when you met other women who were more politically interested, and that became part of your circle, you became far more interested in some of those things. I mean, that was not part of our quote package deal going in. You know, I have to say that my interest in music has not increased that much. During COVID, I did pick up the violin again, and I'm still promising I'm going to do it again. But honey, so much has been going on. It's hard to find the time.
He asked me to teach him to play violin again. He used to play in high school. He hadn't played in like 40 years.
Longer than that.
And so I started to teach him, and I'm a professional violin teacher, and he was a terrible student.
Well, no, that's not fair. That is not. I was a good student in learning.
Well, you learn very well but then you would, I'd say,
I had a bad student, we'd fight,
and then he would yell at me.
Yell at you? I didn't question things. I would disagree with
That
you.
is not the right thing to do. So
yes, teach.
See, there you go. You know, if
all right.
If I tell you to do something, you're supposed to do it.
If we go back to this, I'll try and do better. Okay.
Okay. But eventually, we recorded a duet
Very
that
nice
we played.
duets.
We put it
Couple
on,
duets.
We put it on Facebook for our friends to show what we did during COVID.
All over, they were overwhelmed all of them.
And it was a lovely duet. He played beautifully, and everyone was very impressed.
So let's just clarify. I was a good student in learning and all that stuff.
Yes.
A bad student in fighting. Let's get it clear.
Yeah,
Let's clarify.
Out there, don't fight your teacher. It's not good.
But you may be surprised to know that when I was in class in school, I always fought with my teachers too. Yeah.
So that's your character.
And I guarantee you, Michael is the same way. Don't be surprised.
That's Mike's more view, let me say. For those who don't know, by the way, my mom, she's a violinist. Violinist. It's called violinist professionalist, okay?
In symphony orchestra for many years. And
And you recorded in YouTube, so you can people can still find you on YouTube.
Yes, I'm on YouTube. Gina M. Basson.
Wow.
And
please check my mother out, guys.
I have some performances.
Wow.
Yes.
Recorded. Some were live performances in front of audiences, and some I just recorded, in my living room. And I hope people enjoy it.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. I usually watch them when Michael told me that you play violin, so I was going through your videos and watching them. I mean, they were so magical. They was very beautiful. I mean, also Michael wanted you to play for us in our wedding, but it was so complicated to bring all the things.
Don't put that burden on me. That was Michael has a sure crazy idea sometimes. That's all
I know.
Yes,
I know. He was very excited.
Yes, I wanted me to photograph the wedding, and I said, absolutely not.
He wanted you to play and photograph at the same time. That sounds like Michael.
All right, yeah. So guys, so I didn't introduce her. She's a violinist, and Michael's father was a former lawyer.
Attorney. I was an attorney.
It's a very serious job.
Yeah, very serious. I worked for the Internal Revenue Service.
Wow.
And I did litigation for the IRS and I represented the government, and I had a very enjoyable career.
Wow, that's very good. So on to another question. What do you think are some of the important stuff that early couple or new couples need to discuss before, or to air out the issues before they started having a bigger family, having kids and all that thing?
Well, one is of course how to handle money.
Right.
In terms of we did it as there's one pot, there's an us, there's no. Obviously, major purchases are things we have to agree on. She can't just run out and buy one. Jeff, I spent a fortune today on a new violin. No, not going to happen.
Buying a house, you have to do together.
A lot of things like that. Number one. Number two, obviously, things relating to children. Which also ties in with sex, of course, and a whole bunch of issues. Those are kind of things that you better be on the same page on, or you will regret it later.
Right.
Those are probably the two biggest ones.
Absolutely.
Are there any others that you can think of?
I think also, when you're first starting out, it's a question of, feeling that you are in control of some of your own money as well. That you have an allowance, you can spend it any way you want.
What's your point?
You shouldn't feel like you have to account for every penny. But you need your independence. You need your phone. To use that. And sometimes Michael can kind of forget about certain things, and so if you tell me, Michael, my phone needs to be recharged, or I need so much money so I can go grocery shopping or whatever, then you need to have that independence.
It ties in with the whole idea. You've got to have, love is not a matter of looking deeply in each other's eyes, looking in the same direction. And so you've got to be on the same page. I think another issue that has to be dealt with is the role of friends. That some people come into a marriage with very strong relationships with I suppose there are people with a lot of friends, people with a few number. You as a couple want your privacy. You want your relationship. You don't want his friend George just hanging around all the time. He can come anytime, go through your refrigerator and medicine chest and just do whatever he wants. He's my friend. He's always my friend, honey.
Well, there has to be limits.
You have to know how to put limits on people who are outside the relationship.
It's true.
The relationship is a bond, and you've got, and that includes parents. That includes siblings. All in that category. You've got to have an us. And there's others that revolve around you, and that's even true when you have children.
Right.
Even when you have children, the primary relationship is not parent-child. It's husband-wife, or husband or wife, whatever it's going to be. The primary relationship is the couple, and even the relationship with the kids is a secondary relationship.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So okay, so I have like random question. I'm not like jogging into one area.
All
I'm
right.
like always playing all around. So I'm just coming as they flow in my mind. It's like an open forum. So you as my co-parents, so you might be you're the perfect people to tell me now. What is that I need to know about Michael?
Oh dear. I think we've actually told you what needs to be told. Whether we need to broadcast all that to the world, I'm not necessarily sure right now. There are a couple of topics that we have talked about, and I think those are important topics.
Right.
And Michael is a great guy and also not perfect. And so
Like everyone does.
like everyone else.
Flaws, yeah, sure.
And I think he is well-meaning all the time. Whether
And he has a very big heart.
big hearts.
True.
He's very
Very true.
big-hearted.
Yeah.
He really means well. He wants to repair the world and make the world a better place.
Right.
True, yeah.
And the people in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He really cares about.
You're really,
people.
really very caring.
Right, it's true.
But you can fall short.
It's true. I mean, like anyone else. I mean, yeah.
Right.
That's true. So, so you guys have been married for how many years?
It will be 40 years in June.
Wow, that would be a very big
That's
anniversary.
a big number.
Just coming to- But we've known each other for 41.
Yeah, we met in January of '83, so.
In fact,
so we-
our meeting anniversary was
Yeah.
on January 7th.
Wow.
January 7th.
So how did you guys meet?
Oh God. You
I
really
mean, that's the most interesting story or topic for anyone to discuss.
So you know the story. You're not asking if you don't know, right?
I don't know.
You don't know. How do you know? Everybody else at the wedding
The
knew.
world knows our story.
Everyone's knows the story. Okay. We met at the most romantic spot in the world, the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem.
Wow.
And so I was there on a group from Milwaukee where I live, and Dana was visiting friends, and we literally kept running into each other.
Yes,
As
and
it was a couple days.
I was traveling by myself. I was staying with a friend of mine, and she had to work, so I had my own itinerary, and I went to, the first thing I wanted to go to was Yad Vashem. It's very important to me. And so I went and I saw everything there, and I was on my way out. I had a very bad headache, and as I was leaving, I saw that there was this building. It's like several different buildings.
Yeah, it's complex.
And the memorial chapel, the door was closed, and there was this young man standing outside looking a little bit lost. And so
Hello.
I could tell. And so I could tell, just when you're traveling in a different country, you can spot Americans. So I could see he was American. So I went
Right.
over and just said hello, and who are you, and where are you from? And we just kind of chatted for a few minutes. And then the doors opened, and he joined his group.
When the memorial service starts, you can't get in, so
Yeah, they locked
I
the
got there
door.
late.
And so I left, and I went and got something to eat, and then I felt better. And so the next stop, on my itinerary was Herzl, the cemetery, National
Like
Cemetery.
the Arlington Cemetery.
Yeah, and so I go there, and there's this big group right in front of Herzl's grave, and there's a speaker. The group leader was talking about giving stories about the people that were buried there. I thought, oh, this is really interesting, and so I said, is this the Milwaukee group, I wonder? And so I spotted Jeff, but he didn't see me, and I started waving, and his friend that he was rooming with noticed me and went,
got the elbow on the
"There's
wrist."
this girl there that's trying to get your attention.
Right.
And so Jeff went, oh, it's Gaina. And so I just, we just started talking again, and then he invited me to join the group with him.
Okay. I decided yesterday, we actually included yesterday we were driving, we need to have a family coat of arms
Right.
that have symbols on it and lions at either side and the right color scheme, and then we have the family motto below it, which is, it's sometimes better to ask forgiveness than permission. And so I committed the number one sin on any group event. I simply invited her to come on the bus. I didn't ask anybody permission. I just said,
You didn't
come
even
along.
ask permission.
No, I just said, come
on.
You see where Michael gets this from. And so,
And I might add, this was in January in Jerusalem. It's a very, very cold,
Right.
and I didn't have transportation, and the bus was very warm.
Right.
So-
that was the attraction.
So I went, of course I'll join us. And of course, you know, they're on a group tour, their county has, and going, why isn't this working out? So we went to Mayor Sharim, and then we went back. He was staying at the
I was at King David Hotel, very famous hotel there.
And so before we parted, he invited me to come for dinner that night. So I said, of course. And so I came back for dinner. It was a Friday night dinner at the King David Hotel. Who could say no to that?
Who says no, right? Yeah.
So it was marvelous. I still remember. It was so amazing.
I do remember.
And then they were having a tour of the old city the next day. And so this time, Jeff did the error. He
no, I did it right now.
And they said, absolutely not. I couldn't join
these kind of groups, they try and keep it as a group. They want to build a group identity.
You didn't join them the next day?
No, she did not.
No. And so instead, I called up this guy that I had met earlier, and we were going to meet in the old city.
Pedro, if you're out there.
You said no. I mean, like, okay.
So we were supposed to meet, I think it was at Jaffa Gate, and I couldn't find Jaffa Gate on. And so I'm wandering in the old city, and who do I run into?
Yours was just a fate. This is fate.
And, you know, you have to understand, you know, the old city, there's these little winding alleyways and stuff. It's just, you know, if you were looking for something, you'll never find them. And we just kept bumping into each other. It was a miracle.
Right. And I helped you find Pedro.
So he helped me find the right gate so I could meet Pedro. And then he got lost in the Arab quarter.
Muslim quarter.
Yeah.
For several hours.
Yeah, until he got his group back
No,
together.
actually I found the other group in another city, and they helped me find my way. I kind of, let's say I wandered around. But it all worked out. We had a date that night, though.
And then
we had a date.
another date.
We had a date, an actual date that night.
At Katie's restaurant.
Katie, I believe it's the famous Jerusalem restaurant, still there, I
Yes,
think.
it is.
Oh, wow.
And so then we exchanged our phone numbers.
See you in America.
And then we parted. You know, I went back to Cincinnati. He went back to Milwaukee.
She got there earlier.
Which year was this? Already phones already?
What?
No, those are home phones.
Oh, phones, yeah.
I mean, address and phone. That's
Yeah.
What is known as a landline.
In those days they called it a phone. Gaina, her trip Israel started earlier date, and she left earlier, whereas mine was started later, and we left later. So she probably left a couple of days earlier, and our trip was kind of probably in the middle at that point in time, and so.
Wow. This is very, very beautiful. I mean, the fact that you kept on bumping into each other.
Yeah, that's the miracle.
You will not escape each other.
We got the memo. We got the message.
So he started coming down to Cincinnati for visits, and we were engaged.
On your birthday?
On my birthday in April.
Aww.
And then we had a long engagement because he went back to school for a year.
Yeah. I was. Do you know what a phone booth is? Or do you remember the concept of a telephone booth?
No.
A booth with a phone. You know, but seriously, one of the great moments was in June. It must have been June. I was in New York at that point in time, going to school, and I was talking to Gaina from a phone booth in Washington Square area in Lower Manhattan, and she told me she had good news and bad news. The good news was she got the venue we wanted for the wedding. A year later. The bad news was she wasn't sure she could make it, and so
she made it to her wedding.
And so if I can't make it, just go ahead without me. In all seriousness, the problem was the Gaina was in the symphony at that point in time, and she needed to get off from the orchestra, and they were not being as cooperative as necessary.
Yeah, so originally they said I could have it off, and then they kind of reneged on that, and I said, I already set the date, you know, I have to go. And then we were going to have to cut our honeymoon short because they wanted me back at a certain time. And I was able to kind of get out of that too. So we had like a 2-week honeymoon.
Yeah, I mean, I have to
Where
say.
did you go to your honeymoon?
Pardon?
Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a very nice honeymoon.
It was a lovely honeymoon.
And so I didn't want to cut it short.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
And so then we came back and we started our life in Cincinnati.
Right.
And,
Well, actually, through the year I was in
now.
New York, I was coming back to Cincinnati fairly regularly. So
And then we got married in Detroit, where my
we got married in
family
Detroit,
is
from.
Oh,
So,
In June of
Magical.
'84. Right.
beautiful. I mean, when I listen to these love stories, I mean, well, I'm now married.
When you're married, you'll make your own story.
Yeah. For the people who out there, when I tell, our story, how we met on an app, and I mean, it's so hard to, how do people meet on an app?
Look, how people met then and how people meet now. On one hand, having things like electronics, like an app, is an opportunity.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's a lot to be said for the old-fashioned ways, because what gives you the right impression of a person? What does it take? We're kind of old school, I would say, and
meeting someone in person. That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, the old way was hard, but the new way is hard in a different way. So
Yeah,
I don't know how to make a recommendation.
I mean, the old way was very hard. Okay, I can just guess because you only meet someone. Maybe you maybe are going on a tour or in church or in synagogue, whatever.
People
common area.
Or event, or go to someone's
Yes.
wedding or some other kind of
Yeah.
event.
Because now, how are you expected to meet someone from a country to another country? It was very hard back then.
No, but Michael has been talking. We've been talking as we travel about dating apps and so forth, and those are not simple matters.
For sure, yeah. Wow. So, one last question. I told you. I don't know
Yeah.
questions.
What can I say? It's fun.
You're just very nervous. But anyways, so what do you like about Jeff?
Oh, well, first of all, he's very handsome.
Oh, that's good.
And he keeps himself in good shape. He eats healthy food. He exercises every day.
He's very fit.
He keeps himself busy mentally as well. He's always reading and he keeps himself informed, and so I really admire that about him. And he's just a good companion. He's fun to be with, and we enjoy each other's company.
Oh, how sweet.
That's
It's
so
never
nice.
boring.
We bastards try not to be dull.
And what do you like about her?
She's gorgeous, first of all. That's not really important
That's
stuff.
very true.
I mean, as I say, she's smart. She always knew the right thing to say. She has a deep sense of personal insight into people. She's a good judge of people. You know what I mean? And she's the kind of person you can work things out with. So those are my top 5, maybe.
Yeah. And we don't play games with each other either. Some people can be manipulative or
Definitely.
that kind of thing.
I
And
know.
we just don't do that. We're
Well,
always
do
straight
it.
with each other.
It's not worth it.
It's not what it's true.
No.
Yeah.
It's very
And I
true.
think that's important, that you can trust the other person.
Trust is very important.
I think trust is also very important. Okay, guys, so we have come to the end of our interview. I told you it was supposed to be short, and we also have things to do. So I'm glad you've enjoyed this vlog to the end, and see you next time. Bye.
So long, bye.
This is time for sadness. Because mom and dad are at the airport and they are leaving tonight. And we have to say
Wonderful seeing you. Wonderful.
I'm sorry, See you soon, hopefully. See you.
I really feel like you're my daughter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We got to get inside. I mean, this is a much better system
Yeah.
of compared to other airports I've been at. Let's get inside.